again. You, yes you, control the progression of this podcast. You either keep playing, or you keep playing. This
it doesn't sound like they have much control at all.
You know what, Doug? They are weak. We are the ruling class. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
This is Comics Covered for the week of November 28, 2018, episode 53. My girlfriend's mom is 53. So, That's fun.
Wow.
Here, what do you think it's going to be like when we're 53? I think it'll be, like, really interesting, you know? I can imagine
I personally am excited for when I'm a middle-aged lady.
You do you, man. You can do surgeries for anything these days. Mm-hmm. But here on Comics Covered, other than the surgeries Doug would like to get in the future, we talk about comic books and the world around them, the comics industry, comics movies, TV, games. We'll also talk spoilers, and we'll warn you about them. My name's Jack. I am still pretty new. I've recently, in terms of my whole life, started reading comics. I think is the way to say it these days.
Mm-hmm. I mean, on like a cosmic kind of like infinite scale, like we are, this moment in which you've been reading comics is but a blip, you know? Thank you for that insight. But yeah, I'm recent, and I'm here with Douglas, who, you know, he's my co-host, and he knows a lot that I don't know about comics. Yeah, I'm Doug. I've been reading comics for a bit longer than Jack. Kind of got him into this hobby. Very glad I did. I gotta talk about it every week now. I gotta rewrite the script here because because we started phasing out that whole character section. So this is specifically leading into that, but we're not doing that. So sorry, everyone. We're still trying to figure out something to put in this area. Yeah, we're just gonna bullshit here. So yeah, I've been reading comics longer than Jack has, and it's a fun hobby we both share now. Yay! It's lovely. Yay! Jack. What? How has been your week? How has been my week? How has been your week? How has your week been? You know, I think that's it. But, okay, whatever. My week's been great. This week, I created... Do you remember the Marvel Create Your Own Comics thing that we talked about? Okay. I created... Couldn't have killer bees in there. Yes! I created a Comics Covered account, and it is live on Marvel Create Your Own Comics. Now, have you put anything up? I haven't put anything up whatsoever. But I want to play around with it at some point. But I have to tell you, I read their entire terms. They changed it. They changed it. Okay, because they got too much shit for it. It was really annoying, though, because now I can't find a complete list or download of those original terms. And I have to have them. Someone has I mean, like, people wrote just tons of stuff making fun of it when it first came out. I know, but I saw news stories that say, like, this is, like, generally what's there. And I found a good list of what was there, but I just wish I could find the actual thing. The actual full list. Yeah, so I hope if anyone's out there that downloaded it, just please share it with us or DM us or something like that, because I want to see it, and I want to create a story on there that has all the stuff that they have now taken off of it. Use your new freedom. Exactly. But they do still have, like, you know, gratuitous violence, you know, really, like, offensive, like, material, like, with drugs and stuff like that. Like, normal stuff. You know, it looks a lot better. And then I read all the part about, like, how if you do have a problem, you can... there are two steps if you get stuff taken off this website. You do the first step, which is try and deal with the problem informally. Email them, be like, hey, why was this taken off? And then they say, and then you can go through the legal process of the United States judicial system. It's like, okay, that's in their, like, FAQ? Yeah, no, it's in their terms and conditions. It's like, you can do this, and then you can just, like, bring it to court. Holy shit. We're not going to deal with you. Oh my god. It's really funny. I'm sure just to scare people off. Oh, that line. No, totally. Oh my god. But it's really, really funny to me. But yeah, that was my whole week. Your whole week was setting up this. That was just what happened. Yeah. Doug, what did you do? I watched a bunch of. I don't remember if we've talked about Haunting of Hill House on here before. But everyone else is, so we might as well. But anyways, I've been I was very slowly watching it for a bit because it was stressing me out because it's the ghost scenes in it are scary. So I watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes like once every few days, one at a time, and then I watched like 5 through 10 all in 2 nights, the last few nights here. So I finished that show. It's really good. It's just like a really good like ensemble character piece about this family, these siblings and their dad, and it's told kind of through lots of flashbacks, lots of stuff out of order, but it's not just out of order for no reason. It's like, it's all thematically relevant between scenes. Like a character will be thinking about a thing, then we will flash back to like show the flashback about that. And then we'll go back to a moment like later in their life that is relevant to that, you know? And it's really well done. It's a really unique, and excellent, horror show. If you got Netflix, I definitely recommend watching that. It's 10 episodes, and they are a joy to watch.
I really wanted to get that because I think, you know, good horror is hard to find sometimes because people go for cheap horror thrills as opposed to really good, deep-seated like terror. And it sounds like this one does that sort of unsettling environment well. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the earlier episodes, like, part of the reason I struggled getting through them, a lot of the horror in the show is jump scares.
Oh, really?
And it's still, like, the character work is still amazing. Everything around it is still very good. And, like, there is still kind of a general sense of unease in the scenes in which the horror stuff happens. Like it is scary, but, like, there's a lot of, a lot of, like, character appears and they're screaming or like bullshit like that. And I found that stressful and slightly frustrating, but like the show slowly moves away from that.
Okay.
For the better. And it's overall, just really, really good. The trailer for that show is bad. I watched the trailer when everyone like started going crazy over that show. And I was just like, I don't know, you know, it didn't look frightening, and it didn't look, the writing seemed bad, because they picked a lot of the most, like, cheesy lines from the
like
show.
Melodramatic?
Yes, very melodramatic seeming, which is not really what the show is.
Audience.
I don't know. But it's like, you know, lots of, like, things that made it kind of questionable, like I don't know how to pronounce her name, but Carla Gugino. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, I think so.
Carla Gugino, from like...
I'm an expert on names.
Watchmen and shit. Like she's... I don't know. But she's very good in this show, but like, you know, like I don't think they picked her best moments out of context in the trailer. So just lots of little stuff that like made me skeptical, but the show, like from the first scene of the first episode, like it wins you over. So very, very much recommended.
Very cool. That's awesome. I'm definitely going to put it on my list. I'm always interested because, you know, with how you view like materials like TV and movie, I'm always surprised that you get so scared at things like that. Cause like, I feel like you'd be able to like separate yourself, be like, you know, still being scared. Like I get scared, but I feel like, you know, I don't have that same like terror as I did when I was a kid watching a horror movie, because like, there's always this thing of like, oh, why is that scary to me? And I always had that dialogue going in my head of like, okay, why is this scary? Like, that's kind of cool that they did this and did that. So I don't know. It's always interesting to me that you get like super like uncomfortable and scared by that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah, I've had a bit of an arc of that in my life in which like I couldn't watch. I've always loved like monsters and spooky shit and Halloween and stuff, but I've never really watched like actual horror movies as a kid. Like the furthest I would go is like I loved like Frankenstein and Dracula and stuff, but they're like really old. They're not genuinely scary. But like as I got older, I like in high school, college, I started watching more actual horror movies, and I really love them now. But at a certain point, once I like got an adult job and like more and more the stuff I go to in my entertainment is more for stress relief rather than like stressors. And so I've found horror movies to like lately in the last few years have started to like actually unsettle me again. I still enjoy watching them and I have a great appreciation for them. But they have like, I get real freaked out by them.
Yeah.
And I find that interesting that's a thing. Anyways.
Okay. Interesting. I just started playing a little bit more Little Nightmares. Speaking of terrifying things. That's a video game that came out. It like is just like preys on the most childish like terrors that you like. I can like imagine being a kid and like being afraid of like going into the dark because of this thing, or like going up that ladder because it's like a never end. You know what I mean? Something like that. Like it's great.
Yeah, it's definitely like a Nightmare Logic kind of horror visual in that game, and it looks really fucking freaky.
Yeah.
I've watched bits of gameplay and it's very unsettling.
You should do it though. It's so cool.
Ugh.
In any case, Doug, should we move on to news?
Let's do it.
I think a really exciting thing is that DC is apparently going to be developing a Blue Beetle solo movie with Jaime Reyes as the titular character. I love saying that word. I think it's a really cool way to get away from current continuity to tell maybe a lower stakes story, and then also lighten up the universe a little, right? Because that's like his sort of role. He's like more like jokey. He's kind of like Spider-Man in a way.
Yeah, right? I don't know that he's like necessarily like a jokey or comedy character in the way that like, Spider-Man is, but like he's definitely he's a kid character. He makes more jokes than older characters. He's got more kind of a youthful kind of feel to him. He's more fun. Yes. For
and
sure.
It's also like this is somebody like one of the first like Hispanic led superhero movies that isn't like, a Hispanic. It's not like I don't think this has happened really. You know what I mean? I think they're trying to get that sort of thing too.
In terms of solo movies, it definitely is the first.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think so.
There's been anything else, at least not in big Marvel or DC stuff.
Unless you count like Zorro, which I don't. He's a superhero. He's a hero, masked Avenger.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Antonio Banderas as Blue Beetle. He should play Jaime Reyes.
They should bring him in to play Ted Kord.
I mean...
Do you think Ted Kord will be in this movie?
I'm sure they'll drop a name. I'm sure they'll drop the names of Ted Kord and the other guy. Haven't there been two, right?
There was an original whose name I cannot remember because he's
the Charlton Comics guy, right?
Was it...
Is that the name of the publisher?
Yeah, Blue Beetle was a Charlton character, so it would have been from there, but he's barely even related to either of them. He has like a sword and magical powers.
Oh, jeez. Charlton Comics, that was a publisher like back in the day that DC bought, right?
Yeah, they're the publisher who has all the characters that Alan Moore made analogs for Watchmen.
Okay.
But I'm not sure who the first Blue Beetle was. I'll try to look it up, but I'm probably not going to find it.
I got you.
Anyways, lately Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes as Blue Beetle and Ted Kord have been kind of coexisting with like Ted Kord as like a mentor character for him. So I'm wondering if they'll have him in the movie in that kind of a role.
Maybe they'll see how Captain Marvel kind of does that sort of relationship, if it's any similar at all, and they'll try and like, I don't know, it seems like a similar thing. Like they're both have alien sort of powered powers. They have like a sort of mentor relationship where one person was this and now the other person's this,
Yeah, I think Ted Kord currently is almost more in like almost more of like an Alfred role. He's not like, he's the guy behind the computer. Or,
the man
like
in
he's
the chair.
The man in the chair, exactly. But like more so than like he's the guy who trained him, although he is sort of that. But he's he's like guiding him over like a comm or whatever,
I got you. Well, that should be nice. We'll see.
We'll see. I remain skeptical of a lot of DC's Warner Brothers DC output. But I mean, they can make great stuff. So I think the more, as Wonder Woman kind of showed, the more they try to just kind of focus on the individual characters and like what is best for this character and what will make a good movie about them. I think that really benefits these movies. I think I don't know if Shazam will be good, but it looks fun.
Yeah,
like it looks silly, but it looks fun. I'm probably gonna see that, right? Are you gonna
don't ask me. I mean, I'll probably end up seeing it.
No, you tell me if I'm gonna see it.
Yes. I mean, you're going to. I know you will. So
I haven't seen the last few superhero movies that I have been on the fence about. So
did you ever see Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp. I liked it. Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, we had a whole bonus episode on that. Sorry.
Yeah, we did a whole episode on that.
That movie I've always forget about that movie because there's not a lot that happens in that movie.
Yeah, it's a weird superhero movie.
It's good, but
it's not typical at all. And that's both what makes it kind of I don't know, it's not super exciting or it's not a great superhero movie, but also it's kind of great for how different it is.
It's very intriguing. As you're watching it, why are they? This is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's very subdued, the whole thing.
Yeah, and also I think it's one of the best Marvel post-credit scenes. I love that one where he goes into the what is it called in Quantum Realm?
The Qwantum Wealm. The Qwantum Wealm.
Okay, Oliver. Qwantum Wealm. It's like you're overwhelmed. Sorry. But yeah, I love that. Okay. Well, moving on into our next news story. Speaking of Marvel and their cinematic universe, but not really their cinematic universe, because this is about Netflix and the slowly dying grip that they have in that realm. Daredevil, we were all really sad to see put to rest after 3 seasons. I haven't watched the 3rd season, but I'm assuming that I'd be even more sad after seeing how good it became again.
Yes. It was great.
But who knows? Maybe it's going to come back on Disney Plus. They did say in their little release that they're confident that he'll show his face again in other properties.
Yeah.
So
that's the interesting thing here is this was kind of inevitable.
Of course.
They've in very quick succession canceled Iron Fist and Luke Cage. Mm-hmm. Everyone was like, all right, well, if they canceled Iron Fist, okay, you were like, I could see that coming.
Yeah.
Luke Cage, people like Luke Cage. I don't think the 2nd season was nearly as good as the first, but how close it was to the Iron Fist one made it kind of clear that, oh shit, all these are going to go, aren't they? And so, yeah, this one, especially considering how the 2nd season or the 3rd season ended, is pretty sad that it's ending. But the interesting thing is that they explicitly say, Disney does that, what was their actual wording here? They said, while the series on Netflix has ended, the 3 existing seasons will remain on the service for years to come, while the Daredevil character will live on in future projects for Marvel.
Yeah. So,
whether that means, the obvious thing, yes, is for them to continue one or more of these shows on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Their new streaming service. But I remain hopeful that we're gonna get some sort of now that they're broken from an external deal with a television provider like that. I'm still hopeful that we're gonna start to get some sort of crossover involvement in the movies.
I can feel that totally. But currently, Jessica Jones still has a 3rd season coming out, so that's nice at least.
Yep. And Punisher has another season that they just wrapped. So that's why neither of those have been canceled yet.
But I'm sure
they will probably be swiftly canceled after those seasons are released.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. But, you know, a lot of good television, and I'm excited to start the third season of Daredevil. So,
yeah.
Hey.
It is excellent.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm super excited to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse on December 14th. Is that next? I think it's not this coming Friday, but next Friday.
Yes.
So, yeah, we've been talking about this movie for like over a year, and I've been aware of it.
Have we? I feel like the trailer that made us actually interested in this came out. I mean, maybe we got like the news of it being made or something over a year ago or something.
It was the trailer that came out a long time ago.
Really?
I remember being aware of this movie.
It came out a while ago.
I don't know, but I'm really super excited for this to come out because I think the animation style is awesome, and I'm really glad the buzz is good thus far.
Yes, it's currently reviews. Whatever embargo was holding the reviews back must have ended because reviews have started coming in. It is at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now with 51 reviews in currently as of this recording. So that is super promising. Like I was looking through the top critics kind of blurbs on it, like without giving any like spoilers or anything. They like everyone just is talking about how like just like how visually gorgeous the style in this movie is, which you can tell from the trailers. Like it's going to be amazing looking. But like they're like some people are like saying it's the best Spider-Man solo movie they've made, which is saying a lot. Like people are just talking about just how refreshing and new and exciting it is as a movie.
And that's so cool because like it is like a really hard project to broach to like the casual audience, you know, just the whole concept of like a bunch of different Spider-Man and universes and stuff. That's a fucking hard thing to give to casual like people going to the movie theater for an animated movie, no less.
Yeah. And especially like now that like Spider-Man or Peter Parker as Spider-Man has been established as part of this shared universe, like more than ever before, like Peter Parker right now is Spider-Man in the movie world, and like has these connections to all these other characters and stuff. And they make this movie, which is Miles Morales, but also Peter Parker's in it, and also all these other alternate versions of Spider-Man. Just such a crazy, weird idea to introduce, like, to a new audience who probably a lot of them aren't going to have much or if any experience with either of those characters other than like the Peter Parker movies. So yeah, it looks great. I am excited. It's such a weird fucking movie that it got made, that it looks this good, that it like sounds like it is this good. I'm so pumped for something just really different. Because I could never have foreseen this movie.
Yeah, no, definitely. Understandable is what I meant. Yeah. But in any case, Doug, should we move on into our weekly comics?
Let's do it.
We read comics this week, didn't we?
We did.
We both read a decent amount of books. We read Hellboy and the BPRD 1956 /1. Heroes in Crisis #3, Justice League #12, Drowned Earth. Wait, I'm sorry. Wasn't this Justice League / Aquaman Drowned Earth #1?
Yes, it is. I'm not sure where you got the 12 from.
I'm just always confused. I didn't even have it in my... I'm so mad. I didn't even have it in my poll this week because it's not technically Justice League.
Yeah, I fucking hate this bullshit. League. It's like, you're not tricking anyone into buying this because it has a #1, and if you are, that's shitty. Like, just fucking make Justice League weekly. Or if you want to cross over with Aquaman, just do that.
Well, also, I feel like it's hurting them because, like, it wasn't in my poll. What if I left without getting that? That means you lost a customer just because you made this stupid fucking decision, you know?
Yeah. It's weird.
Sorry. I had to clear my throat because I got so angry. In any case. Marvel 2-in-1 #12. Action Comics #1005. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited to see how far that goes.
Mm-hmm.
And Terrific's number 10. And I read Alone, House Amok number 3, Maneaters number 3, and The Warning number 1.
Ooh. I'll have to ask about that later.
Yes.
Amazing Spider-Man number 10 is... Oh, I read other books. I read some other books, starting with Amazing Spider-Man number 10, Detective Comics number 993, last of James Robinson's little arc here before the new creative team comes on. Okay. Wonder Woman number 59, and DC Nuclear Winter Special.
That's it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, we have a little spoiler warning to give you. And that means we're going to start talking some spoilers about some books. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Doug, let's talk about Heroes in Crisis. You know,
let's do it.
I never realized, I guess I did realize, people don't really like this book.
People get very upset around any series which, like, part of the explicit, not explicit purpose, but, like, where, like, a major plot point is a loved character is killed, or multiple loved characters are killed.
Yeah.
People are fucking pissed about this Wally shit. And I get it. It, like, yeah, I don't know. I have very conflicted feelings about the treatment of how, like, of them killing Wally off in this book with basically no setup.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is really weird, but, like, I mean, the other thing I get about people not liking this book is the focus is not really a big conflict, seemingly so far. Like, it is a little bit, but, like, especially in this issue, like, it wasn't, I don't know. The main focus is delving into this part of a superhero's experience, and that's not what everyone digs on, and I get that. But then I see other criticisms about things like, did you know that people think that Tom King writes characters the same way, no matter what character they are? Have you heard about this criticism?
I know people complain a lot about what they call stilted writing from him, which I would entirely disagree with. Yeah. I would say his writing is deliberate and rhythmic, and oftentimes, like, staccato in a very conversational, naturalistic way. Mm-hmm. But some people don't read it that way because they are used to reading comics in a very specific kind of style of writing. But anyways, yeah. Go on.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I don't really get that, is what I was saying. But I can understand why people don't, like, dig on the story all that much. I just feel like you can't really say anything about, like, I don't know. I guess if that's their experience with the writing, maybe it's a difference of, like, other comics and how they read and this one. So I can see where the, you know, distinction is in their mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I love this. I think it's so cool. And this one was structured in a way that I really, really enjoyed. It was set up on the first page. You know, they have the 3 people in their columns who are going to be following. And then on each successive page, it's each character gets that page, and you keep going and going. And there are just so many, I think, really cool things that are set up in the midst of their single stories. Like, Lagoon Boy is so tragic, like how he talks about all this thing. And it's this one moment, which I assume was in some Titans comic, how he died in this or whatever.
Yeah. He mentions he was on the Teen Titans at one point. So, or the Titans? I don't know. Not sure. But
are those different?
They have been.
Okay.
They are currently.
Gotcha.
Anyways. Anyway, yeah, so these characters are Lagoon Boy, The Flash, and Booster Gold. We're getting flashbacks to kind of their early and last days at Sanctuary, this center for kind of it's kind of an emotional trauma help center for superheroes. And yeah, it's like their first days and their last days. They're kind of their broad experience, specifically in their use of this what do they call this, like, danger room thing?
Chamber session.
Yeah, they're doing their chamber sessions, which is like one of the therapy tools they have there, where it's basically like it will just create for you. It'll create a hologram for you of whatever you want, whatever experience, whatever moment from your life, and kind of goes through what each of them want to see, and whether it's helping them or not. Booster Gold has a lot of kind of emotional trouble, like being like, what do I want? Why, like, he's like super analyzing, like, what is it trying, like, why, what is the purpose of this, and like, what do I want to see? And he ends up just summoning another version of himself who just berates him.
Yeah.
And it's so ridiculous.
It's great though, and it kind of makes sense. Like, of all the things that he wants to do, he wants to talk to himself. Which, yeah. I mean, he's vain and conceited, so it kind of makes sense.
And also he like he wants help. He wants to make himself better, and so maybe it's maybe also kind of a tool of self-reflection, you know, like literally, like he wants to kind of like talk to himself and figure out what the fuck the problem is. I don't know that that's necessarily consciously what he was trying to do. Yeah, but I think that's definitely part of the metaphor here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe part of it is that he kind of hates himself how he is right now.
Yes, that definitely is part of it. He's beaten himself up, literally.
One thing I wanted to ask you, I saw a lot of criticism about the one-page splash, where it's just one panel of him freaking out and having this whole conversation. Some people thought that it was lazy. What do you think about that kind of stuff? I thought it was fine. I don't know.
I think that people in recent years have gotten very hung up on brevity and efficiency of storytelling.
Yeah.
Or not even efficiency, in that like they want the most story content per book. Like, and it's almost like, to me it's almost akin to like when video game communities get very upset over the hour count of a new game.
Okay.
You know, like how you want a certain value for your dollar. I think there's a lot of that tied up in people's complaints about that kind of stuff. When people complain a lot, and we're complaining a lot about Bendis's Superman book and its use of splash pages. And how it's wasting space. I think there's also there's a lot of people saying that it's just not it's wasting like time in which you could be telling more story. You know, I just don't know that I agree. I think it is like you can't take any tool from a writer or artist's kind of belt, and I think this works because it is a singular moment. Like, I don't need a bunch of pages of him like looking distraught looking in different directions. You know, like it's just him alone. But
like, there's nothing more to show here, really. Like, what else? What's the other option? Like, it's just him in this room questioning, like walking around the room, seeing how blank it is and stuff like that. Like, this panel perfectly describes why he's banging his head up against the wall to figure out what the whole deal is here. And that's what he's saying. So there's not much else you need to show.
I also do think it's purposeful in that it grinds the rhythm of the flow of this book to an absolute halt on this page.
Yeah.
In that, like, because they offer him this magical tool of therapy that both these other characters have just like accepted and are using.
Yeah.
And we get to Booster being told about it, and he's just like, hold up. All right, what is the point of this? And he asks a million questions, and he can't like really. He's like overanalyzing it. He can't bring himself to like just use it and try to like accept the things help this AI system. And so I think it rhythmically kind of means something that we are ground to a halt on this page, and are just forced to kind of read all of his his kind of almost inner dialogue here.
And I think it's really, really cool personally because, like, for me, you know, I've never, like, gone to therapy or, like, had much of a talk about my issues or whatever. I feel like very akin to Booster Gold in this scenario because I feel like he's new to, like, opening up and to, like, really delving into what's, like, bothering him and what he needs, what help even means in a scenario. So this, I feel like, is a very, like it's a relevant concept to me because I feel like it's what I do. I overanalyze things like, why is this actually helping? Why am I doing this? Like, just tell me why and I'll be able to do it. I promise, just tell me why. But then I keep asking why, and it's like, the why doesn't always matter. It's just do it. Just do it and we'll see what happens because sometimes that's how it works. And I feel like that's kind of like the crisis that he's going through on this panel. Like, he's just like, but I need to know, like, how you're going to help me. Well, what do you want help with? No, I want you to tell me what to help because I'm the problem here. Like, I think it's a great page. I loved it. I think it's done in the perfect way. I just read all the words first with this backdrop of him having this, face palm. And, I loved it. Yeah.
Did you, I have a quick question.
What?
When he pointed out, they've mentioned this before in, I don't know if it was in this series or if it was in one of the things that teased this series, but this idea that they built this therapy computer it was built by Batman from Superman's tech with Wonder Woman's compassion.
Yes.
After he kind of reminded you of that, did you start reading the AI's voice as if it was Wonder Woman? Because I did.
Oh, that's interesting. No, I did not do that.
Because it does sort of have a bit of personality to it.
It does, definitely.
And I'm wondering if it was intentionally supposed to read as if it was dialogue. It was like it spoke with Wonder Woman's voice.
That's really interesting. I kind of like that. I just feel like her voice in a more general sense. Like I get.
Oh yeah, like her personality. Not I don't even necessarily mean it could or could not. Like sound like her. Like,
I don't think they would do that in the actual reality of the thing.
No, that would probably be weird for people who know her.
Yeah,
but it's like her personality.
Yes, completely. I feel that for sure.
Anyways, not sure if that's intentional or not, but I definitely read that line and had the thought that maybe that was the intent and started reading it as if I had that in my head the whole time. This whole hollow chamber thing is confusing. Is that a good thing to give to therapy?
I mean,
recipients?
It seems like it works pretty well for Lagoon Boy in a way. I don't know. Maybe
I don't know. It's kind of fucked up.
It is kind of fucked up because it's like
it's allowing him to like lean into his like weird mania around his he like almost death. He almost died.
I think it's different for each scenario. Like, because for Lagoon Boy, he's living in the moment of his trauma. For Wally West,
they're all different.
For Wally West, he's living a fantasy. And for Booster Gold, he's trying his best to figure out what he's supposed to do here. Which is really cool.
Well, Booster Gold is entirely like, I think it's self-hate / like he's
confused.
He's digging at a scab here, like he wants, like, I think he wanted to fight himself in this last scene after you kind of, I think you pointed that out.
I don't know if it's a good thing in general, but I mean, I can see how it could be used to good effect, but to have them fully in control, that's also another thing. You want someone to go where they want to go with the conversation. And I think that's the idea.
Yeah, it is also, at the very least, if this is a like therapy center run by an AI, that's a lot of data right there.
Yeah,
that it could use to potentially help the people.
Yeah,
maybe that's the point. It's just that like it's like talking to your therapist. Like the computer wants to know what like this is the equivalent of them telling them the traumatic story. It's them experiencing it or experiencing something that also reveals something about themselves,
Yeah. And all that, what we're doing right now is kind of what Booster Gold does on that page. We're trying to figure out why this works.
Yeah, I think there's a self-insert character kind of aspect to Booster in this issue, for sure. Yeah.
And that's part of why I think this is such a well-constructed issue, because of, it gives us how it's working for other characters, and then it gives us the introduction person, the person that's being introduced to for the first time.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't know. I love that.
Yeah. So we get to the...
Oh, yeah. We're talking about the same thing. I want to talk about what the end means.
Yes. So we get to the end, and so this whole issue has been flashbacks about those three characters. We get to the end, and we get back to the just at the beginning of the first issue, where basically everyone at Sanctuary has been killed. We don't see firsthand who did it, although at the very end we do see, I think, what is Harley Quinn murdering Wally West.
Is that a murder thing? I guess if you hit someone's head and blood comes out, then yeah,
She hit him with a giant mallet.
Yeah. I mean,
granted, wasn't he inside when they found him dead? Or am I imagining that?
No, you're imagining that. They were coming up the stairs from the outside. He was
maybe they were just on the deck.
Yeah.
I think. But yeah, so yeah, I'm wondering if the rest of this, or at least the next few issues of this series, are going to be more flashbacks, and we get at the end caught up to the disaster again, and we get a little bit more information. So we get like lots more flashback about each of these people in Sanctuary, and then we catch back up and get another little clue.
I'm really worried that we're living in a simulation.
This is real. It has to be.
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna be kind of annoyed. They addressed Wally's death in at least the Flash book.
I just hope that it's not like this place at Sanctuary. Well, they brought the bodies other places, so they're dead.
Yeah, they were analyzing the body of Commander Steele. What is that, his name?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's just something about her. There's something about this that isn't, because we don't see her face as she's holding the mallet.
It's not concrete. It's not 100% that like Harley killed all these people, but we do see her hit the shit out of Wally West.
Well, no, we don't see her hit the shit. We see the mallet and see her holding the bloody mallet. But
no, that panel before that is a mallet hitting his head and red glove. It is her arms holding a giant mallet.
Yeah, okay.
Hitting him in the head.
Okay, I see that now.
She does hit him.
So yeah, we can blame her for his death, I guess.
If that killed him, I don't know. It's not 100% clear. Like, if that was what killed him, then yes. But we also don't know that she killed everyone else. It is pretty convincing, at least, that she killed Wally West at the very least, though.
Yeah.
How are you gonna feel if Harley Quinn is the ultimate killer in this series?
I think that's kind of sad, because it seems
sad.
I mean, I think what's going to make it better is if we see, like, we're going to have a flashback issue where we're going to see her greater experience of Sanctuary. And I think how that issue makes me feel about her is going to really determine a lot about how I feel about this decision. Because yes, it seems out of nowhere right now, but the first issue seemed out of nowhere. It just kind of happened.
Yes.
And now we're learning the mystery slowly by slowly, starting with this one. I think it's 3, 6, and 8 are the main flashback issues. So
is that how did they? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 3, 6, and 8 are. I believe that's what they said. I thought so.
Okay, I didn't see that. All right,
but yeah, so I'm just excited to keep going. Like, it's just it's good thus far. It's great thus far. So I'm just gonna keep enjoying it, and hopefully they keep going it. You know,
if it has to be if it absolutely has to be one of these two main suspects, unless another suspect gets introduced at some point, I would 100% prefer it to be Harley Quinn. It still feels super out of character, but
then what's the Puddlers thing? You know?
Yeah, no, there's definitely way more going on here.
What if the AI is manipulating all these heroes because it was made was it made by Batman? Sorry, it was Superman.
It was built by Batman.
Built by Batman. Like, what if, like, somehow, like, because we've already had a scene of the Trinity showing their flaws, like, what if those flaws, what if that's the whole thing? Like, their flaws have shown in the way that they built this place, and that's why the AI kind of went haywire and started, you know, manipulating someone or everyone to kill everybody. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's definitely more going on here, at the very least.
We have to remember what the puddlers thing, you know, we know it's not just one person. Yes. You know?
Yeah, someone's releasing their testimonial videos and stuff and refer to themselves as some sort of group called the Puddlers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. But,
all right.
Yeah, I'm pumped. It's great. Still, I think.
It's great. It's still just crushing. I hope we get more with Wally in the flashback stuff in this series, because I know this is probably part of the point, but it just does feel so sudden and out of nowhere and weird that it's in this book versus a book where Wally's a more established central character anyways.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, Doug, let's talk about something that's a little more troubling then.
All right.
So when I read Justice League by Scott Snyder, I feel like I'm at the edge of a giant hole, and this hole is never ending. And I just am trying desperately to grab on to not fall into the hole. And I'm just like, oh, Doug, help me. I just don't care. I need to keep holding on. I just can't find anything to care about. Oh no. And then I fall in the hole.
You died.
I died.
Oh my god. This is a nice little bit of theater we just did.
Does that make sense though?
Yeah, sure. No, I get what you're saying. It's difficult to find kind of the emotional footholds here. It's just like, I love big epic superhero comics, and I love a lot of the stuff that like Scott Snyder seems to be kind of inspired by here. The kind of like crisis level, or like I think he's definitely inspired by for sure like Grant Morrison's run on Justice League, definitely the cartoon, but it's all action.
Yeah,
you know, like this book is, and there's allusions to these kind of bigger kind of metaphors and emotional turning points and kind of character moments, but like that's all it ever is just gesturing at it.
Yeah,
like someone will say a thing about it will say a thing, but we don't dwell on it at all in any kind of satisfying way. And I don't want this book to be all the members of the Justice League sitting in a room picking at their problems. Like, that's not necessarily what I want. I want a little bit more of a mix.
Yeah.
You know, this arc specifically has been, this crossover Drowned Earth thing has been particularly egregious. I don't think that the rest of this series has been like this thus far.
No, not at all. But, one thing though, like, I just felt like, I don't know. They, like you said, they have little moments where it's like, oh, Mira, your relationship to the sea is this, or like, you know, my relationship to the sea was this. And I think that's really cool, but it doesn't seem like it adds anything to the greater story. It just seems like it is there to like, okay, we're going to have...
It's there to tick the box.
Yeah.
It's there to tick here's the character moment, but it doesn't really have much... Like, it does have relevance to the overarching themes, but it's so slight, and it's so just kind of thrown into the middle of conversations.
Yes.
With no kind of real weight, that, like, it's just there to have it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about any of the reveals about their characters or anything in this crossover. I just don't.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I feel like there are also moments in the action where I enjoy it too. Like, I thought this was a fun moment where he's like, yeah, you can only talk to fish. Well, every hero is an earth.
Yeah, that was a fantastic moment. There's always great moments in this series. It's just that, like, there's not, I don't know. They're few and far between, and the stuff in between them is not like, there aren't peaks and valleys. It's all peak, and then sometimes, like, a slightly higher peak. That is cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't really know what you mean by that. There are definitely valleys.
No, I don't mean in quality-wise.
Oh.
I'm talking in terms of, like, rising, falling action stuff.
You mean it's more like a plateau?
Well, yes, but that sounds more like I'm talking about quality. Anyways.
Okay, I can understand what you're saying.
Anyways, maybe not the best metaphor, but yeah, I don't know. It's just hard to care. One
other thing, though. I actually liked Porter's art better in this issue than I did in the last one, because I know I was shitting on that. I take it back. I liked it better here.
Yeah, he's good at big action stuff, for sure.
I don't know what it was about that I really hated it last time.
You didn't like his eyes that he drew. You were really angry about how he drew eyes.
I thought they looked like dolls, but they look less like dolls here, I thought.
It's just a thing you get used to. Like, I think you spent a little bit more time looking at his art and found an appreciation for it. Maybe. A little more, at least.
I can see that. But at the end of this, our wrap-up is that Mira is now on the Justice League, which is interesting. I don't know anything about her, so I'm interested to see how she plays a role. And Aquaman is MIA on some random shore.
Yeah, I like nipples.
He has huge nipples, I just realized. The last page.
Yeah, I did notice that.
His
nipples
really weird.
Are giant, salami-sized circles on his chest.
His chest looks like a beetle. You know what I mean?
His chest looks like a beetle?
Just his chest, like those two beetle eyes with the beetles have like these ab-looking things. I feel like his chest looks like a beetle, and the little like lines that show his ribs are like the legs, kind of.
It looks like he has two giant slices of salami on his chest, on his pecs there.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Nonetheless.
Anyways, I am excited to move on from this arc. I am excited for the next issue to hopefully be kind of a breath of fresh air from this. I
love that's the best, like, kind of shade that you can, that's gonna be thrown at this. I'm really excited to move on from this.
Also, I think this story could have been a very fun 2 issues.
Probably one oversized issue, definitely. Like, they could have done a nice special where there was there's just not enough happens in this series to justify 4 issues of this. Yeah.
I don't know.
And yes, I can see the argument being like, but you said you didn't want more, just peaks, which, compressing it might give you more. But it's not even just about the peaks. It's about that we're dwelling on those action scenes for so long that it feels like it's tiring. Like, if things happened in a shorter time frame here, it would feel less like I was struggling to hold on to something to care.
It would feel less like we're just grueling through all this action stuff and more like an actual, like, breakneck kind of thing.
Yes.
Where it is like, because that's the thing, is it does always feel, it feels like tons is happening, but but not a ton is actually developing in each issue is kind of another frustrating thing.
Yeah.
Like, they're always fighting shit. They're always doing shit. And, like, there's lots of small reveals, but the actual, like, arc of the story doesn't change much in the overarching story of this series.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
No, I feel you. We can, should we move on?
Let's move on. We don't need to. We have talked ad nauseum on all the previous issues of this Drowned Earth thing.
Yeah.
We don't need to hate on it more, but
we're excited for the next issue, which comes out next week, I believe.
Yeah. Cool.
So I'm excited. Let's see here. So we got Marvel 2-in-1, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
This series has been so great. This ending just felt so rushed.
It did. It wraps up so, like, the Rachna stuff,
like,
especially.
That could easily be a 6-issue event just dealing with this Rachna stuff and getting her backstory and why she did this and everything. You know,
she just all of a sudden is like, oh, and I'm gonna be good now, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
It's really frustrating, because I know it doesn't play with the rest of how Zdarsky has written this book. And
no, he definitely was not planning for this to be the end.
Yeah.
For sure.
So it's just sad. But
I almost wish he had just left that stuff dangling with the hopes that we would like one of his other series at some point. Or like, even if he just left it to like Dan Slott to pick that up in his Fantastic Four book at some point, even if we didn't read it. Like, I would feel better about that than like this rushed ending here for at least her end of the story. I don't know.
Definitely.
But even still, the like all the moments of like emotional reconciliation between the between Human Torch and the other members of the Fantastic Four are still absolutely trumped by like a factor of 100 anything that we have gotten thus far in that Fantastic Four book.
Yeah, and I loved how they related, you know, that Rachna would do anything for her family, and how how Johnny kind of made that relation in his head of like, that's why they seemingly did this terrible thing to me and why they lied to me. Yeah. I like that relation, and that's in line with what he's been going off of, but that seems like a huge part of this book that was just like, okay, this is the issue where we're going to do that, where we're going to relate those, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So what else happened in this issue? Yeah, we also, like, they're just dropping the Doom stuff because Fantastic Four made Doom evil again, so we're never going to get closure on that. I think that little bit, was that last issue, or when was the bit where they went to the alternate reality Doom?
That was last issue when you're talking about when Ben and Reed were with the friendly Doom.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that was last issue.
Like, I think that was kind of his stand-in for being able to get any kind of closure with Doom. It was just kind of the vague idea that like Doom could be good, like there's always a chance.
What can you do? I don't know. It's like, I liked this. It was still like written well and everything, and I could find the Chip Zdarsky in it. It's so sad how this series had to go the way of the dodo.
But I'm flipping through them. I found the fucking scene where where Johnny is talking to Sue, and gets pissed at her. Because it was it is kind of fucked up that he just left without them.
Totally.
And never told them, and like let them think they were dead. Like, that's so messed up.
It's very.
And like he tells her that, and like he says, like, you treated me like a child. Mm-hmm. And I love Chip Zdarsky's ability to like, he's not treating it as if like, I think he clearly sees that plot point as like, well, that was that was a disservice to these characters, the decision to do that. Yeah. As from a writing standpoint, but I'm not going to undo it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do what kind of the best superhero writers do, and I'm going to find a way to wring something new and interesting out of whatever, like, everything that has happened, for better or worse. Yeah. Like, even the worst writing decisions by a writer other than you can be twisted in superhero comics for new story content that adds to the characters and can make the bad plot points good. And
that's part of the beauty of having a shared continuity. So it's really cool how he used that, I think. Yeah, agreed. Yes. Cool. Can we talk about a couple of the ads we got in here about new comics coming out? I didn't hear about this Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man thing by Tom Taylor.
Tom Taylor's new Spider-Man book, so it's going to exist alongside the Amazing Spider-Man book.
Tom Taylor is the guy that wrote that Detective Chimp story in the...
He did. Oh, yeah, you read that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I liked that.
That story is great. Tom Taylor is great. He writes really great, very straightforward superhero books that are just like a really good mix of like fun and superheroics and character work, and I have really enjoyed. He wrote the surprisingly fantastic Injustice comic. That is still going on, although I think he's done with it. It might be ending soon.
I never thought anything of that. I thought it was just like a random like universe they built off of the video game.
That was one of the coolest parts of the first game coming out, is that series. It was weekly. It's been weekly since it started. It's shorter than normal comic book issues, but it was a digital weekly series that started a few months before the first game came out. That kind of led into the game, and it was really good. Wow. Like surprisingly great. And I read it for a while after that. I fell off at a certain point because it's just hard to keep up with a weekly book that goes on for years.
Weekly still?
I believe so.
Jesus.
They transitioned into an Injustice 2 titled book, but it was a continuation of the same thing.
Okay.
Anyways, he also wrote X-Men Red, which is a book that I want to continue at some point. I fell off of that, but I like Tom Taylor quite a bit, so I'm definitely going to at least check out the first issue, although I don't know if I need 2 different Spider-Man books, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, because also we have that Miles Morales one coming out by Saladin Ahmed.
Yeah, which I'm also picking up.
Yeah. That's this month as well. Jesus, this month.
Not all 3 of those, I think, can coexist, at least for my budget.
No, I know.
But
I know. We also have a comic retelling, I guess, of the podcast I listened to, Wolverine, The Long Night.
Yep.
So I'm interested to see. I don't even know if I should read this because I know the story, but I kind of want to read this. I might read for trade. I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked it, though. It's good.
I'm probably going to skip it. I do want to listen to the podcast at some point.
You should. You can listen to it for free. You might as well.
I know. It's just on iTunes now, isn't it?
I think it's on any podcast app. You're covered.
Cool. Yeah. That's our thing. Don't give that to them. All right. You want to talk about some more books?
Yeah.
All right. What else we got here?
I want to talk about Terrifics, the last $3 book in DC. I'm just kidding. It's not the last, but they're definitely phasing out $3 books, and they're definitely all going to be $4, like starting 2 years from now.
God. At least, does it seem like we're getting extra pages along with the... I feel like this book still feels slighter than some of the other books.
This $3 one?
Yeah.
I mean,
the Terrifics in general. Yeah, I just mean like, I think that the $4... I have not counted pages, but I think that the $3 mark does denote, or the $4 mark does denote that you are getting a little bit extra with these other ones.
Well, that's something that can easily be ruined in the future, though, because like,
sure. I just know that like, so I'll bring a comic book or 2 with me to work every day to read on my lunch.
Yeah.
And I always try to pick the ones that seem shorter, because I'll be able to read them quicker and possibly get another one in on my lunch break. But and I oftentimes, when Terrifics is out, will bring that for lunch because it seems shorter.
Yeah. I will say, Terrifics, like, I've thought it's been very good recently, specifically.
Yeah.
I think it got really, really great this issue.
It was really fun. Like, they brought a lot of plot points kind of full circle in a lot of ways.
Can you remind me, was this the giant dude they were inside of in like the first or second issue?
Yes, they went to the dark multiverse, and this giant Galactus looking guy was dead, floating in the dark multiverse, and they were stranded on him for a little bit. That's where they met Phantom Girl. So yeah. And we get little, I think we got a little flashback of like, we got little flashbacks of how in the last I think it was last issue, we got flashbacks of Tom Strong and Phantom Girl ending up there, didn't we?
I think so. I think something like that. But main thing I want to go over in this is there are moments like when you have Plastic Man giving structure to the room. Loved that. Like how he like stretches all around to like keep the room from collapsing on itself while Mr. Terrific does the work. Do you remember this?
Yes.
I love that. Yeah. Love those little moments. And I'm picking a goddamn panel of the week. Okay?
Okay.
Doing it. Because it's both because of the panel I think is beautiful and because of the moment is a great, like, it's just well paced out. And it's when Tom Strong is throwing Mr. Terrific into the giant head of this dude. And on the page before the page turn, we get this little whip. And he's like going for the eye with the like little staff ready to hit him. And then you turn the page and it's just so satisfying with a Shrek to have him like right in the eye. Like it looks just so powerful. The image of him hitting this, like it's just one of those moments that I love in comics when you turn the page and it's just like, zoom, like right there. Like that's it. It's so satisfying. I thought this was one of those moments that is just so satisfying when you get that last hit on the bad guy. I don't know. Yeah. I loved this panel. I don't know.
This book is just like, it's really fun. Like I've been really enjoying it. It's a really, like it's a good mix of action and character and stuff. The ending, I'm curious. I'm interested to see where it's going to go from here. Because it's definitely like, they're definitely going to come back together. Also, I forgot this fucking actual last page.
What?
Holy Multiversity.
Is this?
Did you also think that this page, this Terrifics Are No More page, was the last one and didn't turn the page?
Yeah.
Because there's another page.
Shit, wait. What is this? He's looking at
Doc Dredd looking at monitors of a whole bunch of different multiversity worlds.
That's right. Oh my god.
Because it's specifically we've got Earth X, the which I think this is actually a cover from the upcoming series, but that was an Earth from Multiversity. I think this is Earth Me? What was it called?
Earth. I don't know what Earth Me is. No, I know what Earth Me is, but there's no Earth Me on this page. No.
Are you sure it's not the upper right one? I think that's what that's supposed to be. It's them partying in a pool.
Oh, yes.
It's that artist.
You're right.
It is the artist from that.
It's actually a panel, I believe, from that.
Okay. Because I thought it was, but I couldn't identify any of the characters other than Impulse here. And then we've got the like Marvel analog universe on the left middle. The Shazam, Captain Marvel Shazam universe. We've got the like Monster universe.
There's an it's like Etrigan the Demon is like everybody or something like that.
Well, it's not Etrigan the Demon is everybody. It's like everybody is monster versions of themselves. So it's like this is Super Demon. I remember he's like Superman, but he's Etrigan.
Yeah.
And then we've got the I cannot remember the name of this last one, but it's like this. It's Atomic Knight is the.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. I don't remember what.
But no, you're totally.
What the deal is, but they're like space characters. I don't know. It's a weird like 50s sci-fi thing.
I didn't realize.
But anyways, we're getting Doc Dredd is going to build an army from a bunch of characters from Multiversity.
Damn. Okay,
or from different worlds from the multiverse.
Jesus, I feel dumb now. I
know. I also thought that last page reads as if it's the last page.
Yeah,
that page before that. Wow. And then there's an ad, so you aren't compelled to like turn the page. Anyways,
interesting. That's cool. Wow. Okay, I'm really glad that we had this conversation. Wait, yeah, I'm really pumped to this now. Like I felt dumb because after this page. I looked to see if they were just solicited to 12 because I was worried that they were going to end after 12. But no, there's
a lot of other New Age of DC Heroes books have been canceled recently. I think this and one other book, I can't recall which, are the only remaining.
This is solicited to 13, so we at least know that a new adventure is going to start.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'm pumped though. This is gonna be great. Doc Dredd. Okay.
Doc Dredd.
Java,
who is
right?
Actually Java, which I think is a fun development for his character.
The Coffee Man.
The Coffee Man?
Java. Isn't Java like a coffee thing?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. But in any case, I think this book is great. I think it's really going into some cool places since the beginning, and go Jeff Lemire. We love him.
Yeah. Exciting. Quick thoughts about any of these last few books. How was The Warning? What was that one?
I want to talk about The Warning. So, Doug, in the comic books, there's a certain effect that... sorry. I won't go into this. This is my one problem with The Warning. But I like The Warning and all. I think it's really interesting. They don't tell me anything about they don't tell me anything in this first issue, but they give you like little hints as to what's going on and the time stream they're going into. I have a vague idea about what might be happening, and if it does happen like that, I think it's really, really cool. But I enjoy the art. I enjoy the writing. I enjoy the pacing of what this is going to be like. It's very show, don't tell. To the point where I'm searching everything for clues as to what the fuck's going on. But I'm interested, so I like that. My one my one little thing that I've had in other comics too. Have you noticed that comic book artists, or I don't know who it is, who's responsible, someone in the production line of art in comics decides to put blur on certain things, like to make it feel more cinematic? Maybe? Or
that's an artist decision, I think, usually. It's just a technique sometimes they'll use.
I don't like it.
Yeah, sometimes it can be well done, and other times it can kind of... It feels unnatural.
I just don't like it because, like, with a camera, yes, you need to focus on something, and you need to, like, you know, have focus on this, and then you can use that to be like, okay, we're going to change focus to this. In art... you can just have everything be focused on. And it's like, I'm looking at the art. I don't need you to guide me with focus to look at something. I can look at it and see.
Yeah, it's a non-time-based medium. Like in a movie or in TV, on film, however it is, that is a tool you can use to guide people's eyes because they only have so long. I mean, they have to absorb the information as it's literally playing out in front of them. In a comic book, you have as much time as you want to absorb everything in a panel. And, like, obscuring that information, sometimes that's, like, if you don't want them to look at that information, don't put it in the panel. But I don't know. I've seen it done in ways that, like, doesn't necessarily bother me, and I've seen it in ways that can be particularly egregious. I don't think people do it as much now as they did around in like the early 2000s. It was a really big thing when like people started using computers, started working digitally a lot more.
I got you.
But that was in The Warning that was a thing.
Yeah, they do it a lot. They make it. It's a very cinematic looking book, and
like they're blurring the background, or
they're blurring like the background, and they have the thing that you want to focus on and focus in the foreground, unless the certain panel, like in one panel, the foreground is blurred, so we can have a focused background, which was kind of annoying, and it's just like big close up image of some guy's face, and it's blurry. And then we have a little image of the sky behind him with a big plane in focus. Like, it's just kind of annoying, but it's not enough for me to drop this book because I really like it. I would like, there's a lot of negative space in the art, which I'm kind of a sucker for. I think it's a very interesting art style in general. And I like how they're not telling me anything. Like, but they're still giving me like a clue into like maybe how things are going, what's going down, and like how we're going to solve it. I don't know. I'm excited to keep doing it.
I'm looking at a preview here. I like the art style.
Yeah, it's a really cool style.
Can you tell me what the basic pitch is for this book? Or is it difficult to describe?
You can't really get it from the first issue. And honestly, I kind of wish I didn't know the pitch. I kind of wish I just read this because of how they're telling the story. Like, I read the pitch, I read the premise and the solicitation and everything, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try that. But nothing in the premise came about in this issue. So, which makes me kind of feel like I kind of wanted to read it as it was told as opposed to me reading the premise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I would suggest it. I think you should just pick it up. It's just $4, and if you don't like it, just don't read it. But I also like the idea that it's both the writer and the artist are the same person. Mm-hmm. I like the art style. I like the writing style. And there are certain things that clue me into a greater plot that might be really fucking weird and cool. So,
okay. All right.
Yeah. If you got the time. Other than that, what do we got? Can we talk about, what is it? Well, actually, I don't know. I want to hear about what's happening in Spider-Man. No. I'm sorry. I want to know what's happening in Detective Comics 993, because I'm going to jump on to the next one, which is when the new creative starts.
Yes.
But what's this little arc that's happened?
So this little arc has been, it was James Robinson, art in the last few issues of it by Carbine Di Giandomenico, which is one of the most fun names to say in comic books. But he didn't do the whole arc, but the last few issues have been an absolute pleasure to look at because his art is very nice. One of the reasons I stuck with Flash as long as I did. So James Robinson wrote this, and it is basically the ultimate point of it is it was kind of building towards a team up between Batman and Two-Face, Batman and Harvey Dent. So basically, Harvey Dent is going against Cobra, and his path intersects with Batman, and they end up deciding to take them down together. There's a lot of fun, or like nice little character stuff with Two-Face in here that I really liked. This arc started off felt like it was going to be slightly throwaway, especially since it was a one-off arc by someone who wasn't going to continue writing the book. But it won me over as it went. I liked it. Quite a bit. I wouldn't say you need to go back and read it. And I really don't think it's going to tie much into the ongoing story, especially with the new creative team coming in. But if it does come back up, Batman and Two-Face are no, because they're back to being enemies again at the end. So nothing's really changed.
Well, who knows? I'm super excited for the next issue. I'm excited to see Peter Tomasi in a more, I don't think I've read that much from him. And I love Doug Monkey. I'm going to call him Monkey. So, yeah.
Doug Monkey. Yeah, Doug Monkey is great. I hope he does. He tends to be one of those artists that, you'll get him mixed in with other artists because I think he takes a while with his art. But I will take it because his art is great. I think it's a great fit for Detective Comics. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for the new ongoing creative team.
Definitely.
Because we've been in kind of a weird holding pattern for a while here with detectives since James Tynion left.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay. How was, just give me one word on Spider-Man. Is it continuing to impress you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Spider-Man is still great. Have I told you that Humberto Ramos, from Bendis' run on Spider-Man, or Dan Slott's run on Spider-Man, is on this arc. So, and then we're going back to the first arc's artist in the next arc. Ryan Otley.
Cool.
But it's great. It's been about, this is a Black Cat centric arc about where this thieves guild has stolen a bunch of shit from all the heroes in the Marvel universe, and they have to they need to steal it back. They've stolen Cap's shield, and they've stolen Iron Man's armor, and a bunch of shit. It's very fun. I love the mix of humor and action in this book. It's great.
I'm excited. And tell me, yes or no? What should I get the DC Nuclear Winter Special, or is it $10 that is never going to come back to you?
I'm never going to tell you that you need to read one of these things. But I would say this was a very good one of these.
Really?
There are some great stories in it, especially in a very like promising way. I would think my favorite story in it is a Steve Orlando scripted story, art by who is this? It's Brad Walker. It is about a character called Superman 1,000,000. His name is just Superman, but it is from basically far-flung future of the DC universe. You asked me for one word, didn't you?
Yeah.
Maybe. Anyways, I'm going to continue talking because I want to. But it's basically a far-flung future Superman, and he is in a story with Martian Manhunter. Steve Orlando is writing the upcoming Martian Manhunter story, and there are some nice character moments in here with John Jones that I really, really enjoyed, and I think bodes very well for his upcoming book with him.
Which comes out next week.
Yes.
Actually.
I'm excited.
So, which I'm super excited for. Should we talk about some next week highlights?
Yes.
Yeah. So, we got, always a highlight is Doomsday Clock number 8, which I'm super excited for.
Yes.
I get some more going down.
We're starting to get into the end game for that. Is it 10 issues or 12?
12 issues.
It is 12 issues.
We're supposed to do a year.
So we are, we're still like, we're getting to the third act here.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting there. Theoretically, we're getting to the end. So we're getting to everything. You know what I mean? We're getting to this book not even being a thing anymore.
Well, yes. I just mean, like, I don't know. Like, it has really felt like it's been ramping up in the last issue or two here, and I'm excited.
Well, yeah, ever since we got Dr. Manhattan last issue, that really was
a big development, and I feel like the pace of that book is really going to pick up in a major way in these next few issues.
And then, of course, we have Martian Manhunter by Steve Orlando and Riley Rossmo.
Yeah, we have a shit ton of new books this next week.
Because then we also have Shazam by Jeff Johns and Dale Eaglesham, Prodigy by Mark Millar. Oh, Doug, I have a really, really important question.
Yes.
Is it Mark Millar or Mark Miller? I'm getting really, really annoyed by Miller.
I've heard people pronounce it both ways. I'm not sure how he pronounces it off the top of my head. But I've always said Millar just because, I don't know, it the more indicative to me in my head of that person versus, I guess I don't know of a Mark Miller, but I don't know. I've always called him Mark Millar, but
I always think of a pirate, Mark Millar.
Arr.
In any case, Prodigy, that's coming out next week. Die, which I'm not going to get, but you can get. That's
okay.
You.
I'm excited.
Tell me how it is. Defenders is starting to come out next week with Hulk and Namor storylines. So Doug and I were talking about this off of the show this week, and he asked me what this was about and what the whole deal was. So I wrote down. So Defenders is going to be 4 issues about each of the heroes: Hulk, Namor, Doctor Strange, and Silver Surfer, which, by the way, I think is the weirdest group ever. So weird. Random.
Mm-hmm. It's a very strange group.
Then that will culminate in a 5th issue featuring all of them. Writers for each issue is as follows: Hulk by Al Ewing, like Immortal Hulk; Namor by Chip Zdarsky, I assume because he's writing Invaders; Doctor Strange by Jerry Dugan; and Silver Surfer by Jason Latour, also drawn by him. Should be fun.
Yep.
The last issue is done by Immortal Hulk creative team. Joe Bennett and Al Ewing. So I don't know. I think I'm going to wait for trade on this one because I don't see any point to get it right now. I don't know. And it's a lot.
The various writers on this is probably the reason I'm going to wait and see how it is. It feels like a thing that is primed for it to be of drastically varying qualities. Like, I mean, these are all more or less A-list talent. Like, they're not all I love Chip Zdarsky. I've really enjoyed the Hulk stuff from Al Ewing. I'm not huge on Jerry Dugan. Okay. And I've read some short stuff from Jason Latour, but I don't think I've ever read a full book written by him. But I don't know. I don't get the impression that his writing has set the world on fire. But I don't know. I'm probably just going to wait and hear how how it is.
And it doesn't sound like they're setting up a series, though.
Okay, that was my question. No. So it is just an event, or basically a little mini. About basically. Interesting.
But other than that, we have a couple ones that I'm just gonna flip through, and I wanted to ask you specifically about Marvel's Avengers Untitled Prelude #1. I think it's so funny that it's
don't know anything about it.
Untitled, their preview, because they don't have a title yet. It's coming out in May, Doug, and they don't have a title.
Is it? So wait, this is a prelude to
the 4th Avengers movie.
Well, it doesn't say Untitled on it.
That's what it's called on their website right now.
It is what it's called, but they have a cover on here, and it just says Avengers Prelude.
But it's called Marvel's Avengers Untitled Prelude. That's a solicit.
It is, but it doesn't say that anywhere in the actual issue. So, that is dumb. I don't know why they refer to it as that in the solicit. But
I feel like it's just a funny marketing thing now for them. It's like, we don't have a title.
It must be.
It's untitled.
It must be just like, haha, isn't that funny? You don't know the title yet. But whatever.
Oh, I think it's funny.
Wait, what the fuck is this? This is just
the solicit says stuff about Infinity War.
I'm looking at the art for this, and it's literally just like the illustrated pages of the beginning of the first.
And I don't know that
of Infinity.
I feel like I don't know what that is, but I hope it's. I mean, for the people that are reading it, I'm not going to read it, but for the people that are reading it,
I don't think I've read. I don't think I've read any of these prelude things they've done. They've done a bunch of them. But,
I'm sure, yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny, those Untitled. Then I'm flipping through a couple that I caught my eye. One called Freeze #1, which is an image book by Dan Wickline and Philip Seavey. I don't know who they are. But it's about the whole human population is frozen by a mysterious global event except for one guy. And he has to figure shit out, which I think is an interesting concept.
Yeah.
And then there's one called Self-Made #1, which the art looks kind of cool. And it looks like it's just like more of a character story about like someone going into her role as a god, I guess.
Yeah.
So
there are too many other new books next week me to justify picking up any like ones I'm on the fence about.
I know.
Like, between
this artist,
Martian Manhunter, Shazam, Prodigy, and Die, that's 4 new series I'm starting next week. So I can't. I just can't. Like, even if the rest of my week next week wasn't already full, like, that's like my weeks lately have already been like, I've been getting more books than I normally get, so I can't ongoing add 6 new books, you know?
I know what you mean. But yeah, I might flip through those ones. That's about all I got. But yeah.
You didn't have another very important question?
No, the Mark Millar one was the very important question that I wrote.
That was your very important question.
I will say that I'm halfway through Kingdom Come right now, and it's fantastic. It's so good.
Kingdom Come is great.
Like, I think it's just perfect. It's really, really relevant right now, too, I think. Obviously, I have to get more, like, I need to read the whole thing to, like, understand, like, all the message that it's trying to put out. But I just really love it. And Alex Ross is amazing, and I just love him, and I want him.
That's Mark Waid, correct?
Mark Waid and Alex Ross, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm also really excited to see his Marvels over on the Marvel side, his big series there. So, and I'm wondering...
Alex Ross?
What?
Alex Ross, you mean?
Yeah, Alex Ross. Sorry, yeah, not Mark Waid.
Yeah, I think that's Kurt Busiek, I think, wrote those.
You are right. I'm wondering if I'm going to need to look up... Because, like, do you know the general plot of that story, Marvels?
No. But, I mean, I know... Well, I mean, I know the basic pitch is that it's, like, it's major events in the history of the Marvel Universe, but told from the perspective of, like, people on the street.
It's about, like,
civilians.
The protagonist is, like, a photographer for a newspaper or something.
Okay.
And
so it's a specific character.
Yeah, it's about
ongoing
him
in all of them. All right.
Catching all these different, like, really, like, epic, like, moments from the Marvel Universe.
Okay.
Including Reed and Sue's wedding and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm wondering if my enjoyment of it will be benefited if I'm looking up what the event is and what was going on in that storyline when I'm reading it, because I heard that, for example, at the back of Reed and Sue's wedding, when he's covering it, Alex Ross, that he put stuff in there that was going on in the story. There's someone trying to get through the door that was a big plot point in that storyline and stuff like that. And I feel like that's going to be a main point of enjoyment in this, but I'm not going to read that much Marvel continuity to try and read this. I'm just going to try and look it up, I think, and see what was going down.
Yeah, I don't know that you're going to get, I'm not recommending you go back and read all that stuff. Yeah. I agree. I wouldn't either. You're not going to get all the finer points of stuff like that, though. I don't know that you, that one in particular, but, I don't know that, if you hadn't known that, you, Wikipediaing or looking on a summary of some sort of those stories that you're going to get a lot of those Easter eggy kind of things. But I don't know that that's necessarily the broad point of the series. I think you'll get plenty of enjoyment.
Yeah,
I haven't read it, but I would imagine that you'll be just fine.
One thing that I did really like was the in my collected edition, the foreword was written by Stan Lee. And I'd gotten this a week after he had passed. So I thought it was really, really nice. I just read that forward thus far. And it was really, really nice because that book being it is, going over all those epic events, Stan Lee was at the helm for this whole time. And I feel it was really, really appropriate to have him write the foreword for a story like that. And it was really, really nice to read and everything. And
I feel that's also a really nice way, to kind of observe his passing, through, yes, you could also read something by him, but there's something nice about people who are doing this observation / homage of the majesty of stuff that he has done. Here's a character who's looking at how amazing all of this stuff that he created was. And I think that's cool.
It's very cool.
I don't think that he wrote all of the stories that it's referencing. But
no, but it's just a general universe thing. He's
it's looking at the majesty of the Marvel universe. I think broadly. I think that's really cool. I definitely want to read that. Are you gonna start that soon?
I don't know about that. I think I love Kingdom Come. It just takes me a long time to get through it because I want to look at every single fucking thing that Alex Ross draws. And I think that I'll need something in the middle probably before I start on that one. Sure.
Yeah, let me know when you're going to, because I think that would be a fun thing to read together.
Yeah, because then maybe you'll have insight too on certain things more so than I do,
Maybe a little. I don't know how much, but
whatever. Maybe. I'll let you know when I'm starting it. That'll be fun.
Cool.
In any case, I think that's gonna about do it for this week. Unless you got anything, Doug.
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening, Doug. Thank you, Doug, for listening.
Oh, yes. I've been listening to you ramble for almost 2 hours here.
I know. We're a new podcast, though, so the absolute biggest thing you can do for us is, if you like the show, is give us a review or star rating. I kind of said that weird. Review or star rating on iTunes. And if you enjoyed...
Review-ster rating.
Shut up.
It's our new Yelp-like site, Reviewster.
That'd be fun. That wouldn't be a terrible...
It's Review STR.
Yeah, I'll take that. And if you enjoyed what you heard, let someone know about us with your mouth or with your mouse. We release episodes weekly on Sundays, so be sure to check back next week. Or better yet, subscribe and never have to think about it.
You can do that on pretty much any podcast app you can think of. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, blah, blah, blah. We're on Spotify and iHeartRadio now. Those two are relatively new. So whatever podcast app you use, we've got you covered. In the meantime, before the next episode, this next week, you can find... The script here has written, you can find a prairie dog on Twitter and Facebook. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook under the handle @comicscovered. Facebook, that's facebook.com/comicscovered. You can find web archives of all our episodes.
Can you or can you not find a prairie dog on Twitter and Facebook?
Well, I'm sure you can find many prairie dogs on Twitter or Facebook. That's
and
I'm sure.
Probably find someone prairie dogging it too, right?
I would hope not. You can find web archives of all our episodes at comicscovered.libsyn.com. That's LIBSYN. If anyone is listening to this and has no idea what that is, because I just became hyper aware that not everyone knows what the hell that is. That is our podcast host. So,
oh yeah, I didn't know what that was before. I didn't even know why you included it on here, honestly. It is a nice archive of everything.
For all intents and purposes, it is the website you can go to listen to all our episodes if you want to listen in a browser. You can also find them on our YouTube channel. So check that out. If you want to get a hold of us, the question or feedback, send us a message on Facebook or Twitter, and we'll get back to you. Thanks again for listening. I am Doug.
I am Jack, and this has been Comics Covered.
You didn't,
or Prairie Dog. I'm a Prairie Dog. I'm sorry.
Yeah, normally you say you're something else.
Sorry, I'm a prairie dog. I'm prairie dogging it.
Okay.
This has been Comics Covered.